Hey there, for today I'm going to be talking about an introduction to business process automation. Welcome to the Digital Transformation Academy. My name is Dennis Hilario and I'm here to help you in your digital transformation journey. Let the show begin. So we're just meeting. My name is Dennis Hilario and I'm going to give you my best thoughts and my best tips about digital transformation, creativity, and innovation. So if you haven't already, please consider subscribing and smash the like button so you get up to date to future posts such as this. We are all familiar with the term business process automation or BPA. So it's the use of technology to automate repeatable or day-to-day tasks of your small business or any other business with business processes. And so it accelerates how work gets done so it is routed to the right person and at the right time. And in effect, that will boost the productivity of the company or any other organization and promote efficiency. But the problem in business process automation is that 60+% of these projects fail. So I'm gonna giving you the proper mindset, how to prepare the team, your team, what is the ERP implementation strategies, and the common mistakes in ERP implementation. So as a business owner or someone who is tasked to manage the organization, I think the first step is to be ready to listen. So there are three parties that you need to listen to when you do your business process automation. So number one is, of course, yourself. You have to define what are your needs, what do you want to see, or the outcome of this process automation. If you have a metrics of your current performance in terms of efficiency or like your expenses or overhead in the company, then what is your desired result? Second is that you have to listen also to your team, to your employees. If you have the time, it is ideal that you interview them one by one to really listen and be open to suggestions. What are the problems that they are encountering to make a smooth transaction processing, and pretty much what are their needs. So the third party that you need to listen to is the experts, or basically the ERP vendors, business process consultants, or any third party that you trust to help you out in defining the blueprint of your business processes and how to automate them. The second mindset in business process automation is agility. So you have to be agile. If you are familiar with the Scrum methodology or sprint-based project management, you have to define the initial scope that you want to have in this business process automation and set a short deadline or a timeline, because some people, they tend to cover all aspects in one sitting, and that's the problem. If you're agile, you set a sprint and then you're flexible on every time you finish a sprint, you have to review what you have accomplished and then iterate. Or when you say iterate, you try to cover what was the weaknesses or what was the problems that encountered during the first sprint in preparation to the next. And last but not the least, mindset, or the third mindset in business process automation, is that you have to be vigilant. Many of us see problems we encounter during the course of the project or business process automation, but we tolerate them. Roadblocks are really inevitable in any project execution. If you're not vigilant in solving these roadblocks, then most likely this project will be doomed to failure. It is normal that there are conflicts between teams, conflicts between your departments, between the vendor and your team. So it is your job to be the middleman to solve these problems and conflicts to make sure the success of this project. So now that we know the proper mindset in business process automation, now let me walk you through the different strategies in ERP implementation. While some people do like a big bang in doing the business automation, big bang means you want to do or automate all departments or all aspects in one big shot or one big bang. So I strongly discourage that approach, because it's not only overwhelm your team in this project initiatives, but I'm pretty sure you'll get delays and you'll not realize the ROI immediately because things will be done in parallel and to all your department. So here are the different strategies that I coined and built this framework myself in doing business process automation or ERP implementation. So people often use the metaphor an arrowhead to represent sales or marketing. And so this strategy is basically starting with your sales and marketing first, and then before the delivery fulfillment, and then other back office departments. So one of the objectives of doing the business process automation is to secure it for the future. But if you don't have a good and sound customer experience, then I think the ROI that you want will not be realized soon enough. And this is exactly what happened during the pandemic. So a lot of business closed shop because they don't have ways to acquire customers online or in digital. So what they have is like a brick and mortar stores, and they were not prepared at all in capturing sales online or capturing sales digitally. So there is no point of like having a back office processes if your sales and customer acquisition is not efficient. The second strategy that I'd like to discuss is the DNA strategy. Businesses have their own core ideology. So these core ideologies, according to Jim Collins, the author of Built to Last, are the reasons why their businesses go good to great. Companies like Ford have the people first mentality as their DNA, while Disney has imagination and creativity as their DNA. So basically, they are into innovation or product innovation. So it is important that we find out or we define or figure out what is your DNA. So for example, if your DNA is people first mentality, so it is logical that you start with human resource, digital transformation, timekeeping, and pay. And then if you are a customer driven company, then you start with help desk systems or website and e-commerce. Third is workflow digitization strategy. So this strategy refers to the transaction capturing process. So you start your implementation or business process automation with how you capture your transactions. One example, in your warehouse or inventory department, you would want to automate the process of capturing the receiving of goods and the delivery of goods. So you would want to implement barcoding first and automatic printing of receiving reports and delivery receipts to customers once you do the barcoding. Another example is in accounting. Instead of manually preparing the bill, your billing and receipts, then you automate first the printing of receipts and the billing. You automate first the printing of purchase orders up to the payment and check printing. With that strategy, you'll be able to do the transaction processing efficiently without necessarily minding about the balances first, like the ledgers and whatnot. So after you have successfully implemented the digitization strategy, then that's the time you set up the balances, your receivables, your payables, up to your financial statements. In any case, in whatever strategy that you'd like to implement, it is important to concretize the business process first. I always say that across your departments, concretize them, document them, analyze the gaps, and then start doing these strategies depending on your preferred setup. So the last topic that I'd like to discuss in this episode is the common mistakes in implementing ERP systems. Many business owners think that once they buy the system or the software and then delegate it to their managers, it will be automatic that the system implementation will be successful. So that's the common mistake that these business owners or managers make in business process automation. So the first mistake is there's no concrete business process. So again, I always say that before implementing the ERP or accounting software, HR or payroll software, you have to concretize the process first, how you want to capture the transactions, what is the control, who are the approvers, and then what are the reports that you'd like to see. So those are the business process points that you would want to do first, and document if you can before implementing the system. The second mistake is not choosing the right implementation team. Some of us, we just delegate it to our manager with no experience at all in ERP implementation. Some of our employees, of course, have their own agenda, so they would be biased in their specific department or process, hence the problem in doing the implementation. So you have to pinpoint who will be your champion, or if not, it's ideal that you do it yourself. Second is not choosing the right software vendor. Some of us, we just want cheap solutions, but I think one of the best criteria in choosing the vendor is their tenure in the business or in the market. Who are their customers? If you can get some customer references, call them, interview them, if how they dealt with the implementation with this ERP vendor. The third mistake in ERP implementation or business process automation is the output is not well defined. As discussed earlier, we as the business owner or the key personnel has to define the expected output. What are the reports that you'd like to see? What is the efficiency aspect that we'd like to grow or increase? What is the cost that we'd like to save? What are the financial statements that we would like to review at the end of the day? What are the forms that we'd like to use and whatnot? So we have to define this even before choosing an ERP system. The fourth mistake in the ERP implementation is scope creeping. So once you have defined already our initial sprint, initial scope, initial timeline, we tend to think of additional features while we are in the middle of it. So in effect, the project gets delayed because we would like always to have this wow feature that we have not thought of initially in our first sprint. So again, this is a common mistake. So what you do, I suggest that you just put it in the backlog, and then after the sprint, you would want to discuss it to your team and consider it to or in the next sprint. And then the fifth mistake in ERP or business process automation is not implementing the agile or the Scrum methodology. So again, this refers to some people or some business owners who implement a big bang approach. So in one sitting, they would like to cover all the aspects. They want to really identify everything in one sitting, and they get frustrated if they don't meet it, and then they are tempted to do scope creeping along the way. So again, make short sprints, probably about 3 to 4 weeks timeline. Identify the scope in the timeline. Some in our ERP implementation, say for example, we start with the general ledger first in a 2 to 3 week sprint, and then we discuss or we implement the accounts payables, we implement the receivables, the inventory, and so on. So that's the approach in this is a good approach in ERP implementation. So that's it. So this is my first post introduction about business process automation. So we discussed the intro, the proper mindset in implementing ERP systems, what are the strategies and the common mistakes. So I hope you have gotten a lot of value out of this post. Now, if you want to fast track your learning, I have this BPA Snap Framework workshop. It's a one-on-one private coaching online. It's a 1-month program that discusses business process automation and documentation, gap analysis, up to how to use an ERP system. So it comes with a free 1-month access to our ERP system, our premium ERP online. So that can serve as your learning tool in learning ERP and whatnot. So if you decide later on not to use it, at least you have the knowledge already and familiarity of an ERP system. So check out oneboxcloud.com/BPA course for more details. So question, what is the ERP implementation strategy that you think is ideal for you? I would appreciate if you provide your feedback in the comment section below. So if you like this video, kindly consider subscribing so you'll get up to date with the future posts such as this, and smash the like button so it can help me or this video reach out to more audience to help them out in their small business and business process automation initiative. So in my future post or my next post, I'll be discussing how to document your business process, what to do in your gap analysis, and how to engineer your business process and map it out to an ERP system. That is it for now. TX Your Life in Business. Have a great day.